I've been immensely grateful for the work that WellChild does and moved by the stories I hear and the people I meet.
Day for GSK when we're announcing a deal that strengthens two business and creates significant value for shareholders.
Can you even believe this? Prince Harry, the once golden boy of the royal family, has officially hit a brand new low, and this time there's no spin that can save him. Forget the fairy tales and underdog stories. The man who used to cruise through London in royal motorcades, flashing that cheeky grin while police escorts cleared the streets, is now literally out here begging corporations to fund his luxury lifestyle. And for the first time, in a big, public, humiliating way, the answer was a straight-up no. Yes, you heard that right. GlaxoSmithKline, yes, that GSK, one of the biggest pharmaceutical giants on the planet worth over $70 billion, flat out refused to bankroll Harry's little request. And get this, it wasn't just a polite brush-off. Oh no, insiders say CEO Emma Walmsley didn't even sugarcoat it. She allegedly found Harry's demands excessive, inappropriate, and downright embarrassing. Imagine that, an executive who deals with billion-dollar decisions daily, rolling her eyes at Harry because he wanted a private jet and head of state protection for a children's charity event. This wasn't just a corporate rejection. No, this was a brutal wake-up call. Prince Harry, who's been floating around in a bubble of entitlement and celebrity privilege, just got slammed back into reality. And here's the scene. He's already heading to the UK in September for the 3rd anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's death. Sounds somber, right? But don't expect cozy family reunions or tea with his brother. Reports are crystal clear. There's zero chance of a heart-to-heart with William. Their relationship? Rock bottom. And with Charles? Forget it. No palace insider is expecting miracles.
So just give us a picture, if you could, about what is driving your growth in this specialty medicines group. What's working well?
So what's Harry's fallback? Well, he thought he could rely on the one thing he still has, his long-standing connection to the WellChild Awards, a charity honoring seriously ill children and their caregivers. To be fair, he's been involved for years, even back in his royal days. But oh honey, this is where it all goes completely off the rails.
Hi, how are you doing, Harry?
Hi guys, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you? Hi Henry.
All right. Yeah,
All right. You know what? My name's Henry as well, but everyone calls me Harry. I have no idea why.
Instead of just showing up, smiling, and keeping the spotlight where it belongs, on the kids, Harry decides, nope, he needs the full A-list entrance. Private jet, elite security, the whole works, and of course, he assumed a global corporation would be thrilled to pay for it. Enter GSK. They're one of the event's biggest sponsors, and Harry clearly thought, well, why wouldn't they foot the bill? I'm Prince Harry. But Emma Walmsley, the powerhouse CEO who doesn't play games, wasn't buying it for a second. Her response? A cold cutting number. And here's where it stings. Harry didn't just want the jet. He also demanded presidential-level security, the kind you reserve for actual heads of state. Let's not forget, the UK Home Office has already said multiple times that Harry cannot buy back taxpayer-funded royal protection. He walked away from that life in 2020. Those perks are gone, yet here he was, expecting a private company to act like his personal bodyguard bank. Sources said his request was so over the top it bordered on delusional.
The scale of what he wanted to do.
Well, I don't think you ever know what the job's really going to be like until you're in it, but it would certainly be true to say that during the process of being appointed, I was making a case for change. Definitely some things that we should continue with in the company, but...
And Walmsley wasn't having any of it. She apparently saw Harry's request not just as ridiculous, but as an outright reputational risk. Think about it. GSK spends millions every year funding children's medicine, vaccines, and life-saving research. Can you even imagine the backlash if it leaked they were blowing cash on Harry's jet habit instead of, say, cancer treatments? The optics would have been catastrophic. And here's where the irony hits like a truck. Harry's spent years lecturing us about climate change, about reducing carbon footprints. Remember those oh-so-serious speeches? But the tabloids sure haven't forgotten the 2019 scandal where he reportedly hopped on 4 private flights in just 11 days. Preaching sustainability while living in luxury? That hypocrisy is exactly why people are dragging him today.
People are interconnected very deeply at the most fundamental level, and by the way, it's always, again, the most vulnerable.
And this GSK fiasco only seals the image he's been desperately trying to outrun. That of a hypocrite who says one thing and does the complete opposite. The worst part? Back when he was a working royal, the palace's PR machine could swoop in, clean up the mess, and redirect the headlines. But now, he's on his own. And clearly, corporations like GSK aren't afraid to slam the door right in his face. Now here's why this blow matters so much. Harry being rejected by GSK isn't just about one private jet. No, this is symbolic. It's a neon sign flashing, the corporate world, the same world he and Meghan rely on to keep their celebrity machine alive, just isn't bending to their demands anymore. PR analysts in London have already called this moment a watershed. Once upon a time, doors opened for Harry simply because of who he was. He was Diana's son, the cheeky prince, the golden boy. But fast forward to today, the shine has worn off. Back when he served in the military, his approval ratings in the UK soared over 80%. He was seen as relatable, even heroic. But now, current YouGov polls show him languishing at just 23% approval in Britain. And across the pond in the US, the land where he and Meghan thought they could reinvent themselves, his numbers have dropped below 35% for the very first time. That's not just decline, that's collapse. And GSK's cold rejection? It only drives the point home harder. The defenders will argue, oh, come on, it's not that deep. He just asked for travel support, but when you zoom in, it's way more than that. For Harry, the WellChild Awards are one of his last big stages to polish up his philanthropic image. The photo ops, the speeches, the carefully staged compassion, it's all part of the Sussex PR playbook. But now, with this jet scandal, the mask has slipped. Instead of celebrating the children, the headlines are about Harry, his arrogance, his demands, his tone-deaf behavior. It plays straight into the growing public perception that Harry and Meghan use charity as a backdrop for branding, more about their optics than the actual cause. And that's why this rejection stings. It exposes what many suspected all along. And don't think for a second that the palace hasn't noticed. You can bet William, laser-focused on credibility through his Earthshot projects, is quietly satisfied watching his younger brother unravel. While Harry begs for jets, William's out here positioning himself as the steady future king. The contrast couldn't be clearer. This isn't just a little stumble, it's tabloid gold. British media is feasting. The Daily Mail splashed headlines calling it a corporate slap in the face. The Telegraph, even harsher with the cutting line, Harry confuses philanthropy with perks. And the Times, usually the more restrained outlet, called it a brutal reality check from the real world. But the true carnage? Social media. Within hours, #PrivateJetPrince was trending. Twitter exploded with memes. Harry lecturing about climate change side by side with luxury jets. One viral caption read, "Reduce your carbon footprint unless someone else pays." Ouch. This is the one arena Harry and Meghan can't control, the raw, unfiltered public voice. And that voice right now? Absolutely savage. Sources close to GSK even spilled more tea. Apparently, Harry's team tried to spin the request as a security necessity. But come on, this isn't the UN General Assembly or a NATO summit, it's a charity awards night. The idea that he needed multi-million-dollar travel and head of state protection for that? Laughable. Emma Walmsley, sharp as ever, apparently shut it down with one brutal line. "We fund medicine, not luxury." And when a CEO of her caliber takes that stand, the message echoes across the corporate world. Reputations are currency, and Harry's has become toxic. Let's zoom out here, because GSK isn't alone. Spotify dumped the Sussexes after one limp season of podcasts despite a $20 million deal. Netflix has already scaled back, canceling Meghan's pet project Pearl before it even began. And now, GSK joins the growing list of companies saying, no thanks. The Sussex brand was once about inspiration, about royalty meets Hollywood glamour. Now, it screams drama, entitlement, and low returns. For PR executives, the math is simple. Too much risk, not enough reward. And the biggest irony? This should have been Harry's safe space. The WellChild Awards are low-key, heartfelt, and exactly the kind of platform he could have used to rebuild goodwill. But thanks to his private jet demands, he's overshadowed the very children the event celebrates. Charity insiders are furious. One WellChild staffer reportedly told The Sun, "This event is about the children, not Harry." The last thing we need is his travel drama hijacking their spotlight. But that's exactly what happened. And the meltdown? Oh, it gets worse. Insiders say Harry completely lost it after GSK's refusal. He allegedly went nuts, furious at his team, blaming leaks, raging that his reputation was being sabotaged. But here's the kicker. He sabotaged himself. Nobody forced him to demand corporate jets. Nobody pushed him to ask for over-the-top security. Those were his choices, and they backfired spectacularly. Some even whisper he threatened to reconsider his entire involvement with WellChild if his demands weren't met. Can you imagine walking away from a children's charity because you didn't get a private jet? That's not just bad optics, it's career suicide. And Meghan? Nowhere to be seen. After the backlash over her lifestyle brand and Netflix drama, she's staying far, far away. But make no mistake, Harry's humiliation splashes on her too. In the public eye, they're a package deal. His failures stick to her and vice versa, because at the end of the day, critics say the same thing. The Sussexes live in a bubble, preaching compassion while demanding perks, talking sustainability while racking up jet miles, lecturing about service while making it all about themselves. So what happens next? Of course, Harry will still show up at the WellChild Awards. He needs those photos and the coverage. But however he arrives, it's going to be spun as humiliating. If he flies commercial, the tabloids will scream, "Fallen Prince downgraded." If he pays himself or gets a smaller sponsor, it'll be mocked as a climb down. Either way, the jet scandal hangs over him like a storm cloud. And the deeper problem? Credibility. Every time he demands special treatment, every time he lashes out when denied, he chips away at the little goodwill he has left. Once that's gone, what's left? Just a disgruntled former royal, sidelined, mocked, and with fewer and fewer stages to stand on. Because here's the brutal truth. Harry isn't being judged as just another celebrity. He's being measured against royals. And next to William, the steady, duty-driven future king, Harry looks like a reckless, cautionary tale. William doesn't need to beg corporations for perks. He commands respect. Harry, meanwhile, is being laughed out of boardrooms. For a man who once commanded armies of royal fans and global admiration, this fall from grace? Absolutely staggering.